Welcome! My name is John Halcyon Stinn, and it is such a treat to spend this moment with you. Today's topic is stop and appreciate. The thing that made me start stewing on the topic of appreciation was pondering water. Right now in California, there is much talk about the drought and the effect of limited water. And it is not just in California. Many states are feeling the effects of reduced water, reduced rainfall, reduced snow. And I don't necessarily want to focus on the drought and the causes and the effects and what we need to do. Those are important things that we should be putting our attention on and refocusing on how we can do our part. And doing our part is more than just taking shorter showers in our individual lives, our personal consumption. It also means paying attention to and putting our voices towards political influence and the ways that legislation and the ways that industry uses water as well. Again, that's not the topic of today. The topic of today is appreciation. And here's how water made me think of it. I saw some stats about global water concerns. Women spend 200 million hours carrying water every day in developing countries. 200 million hours a day is spent walking the hours to a water source, filling a jug, and carrying it back to the place that they live. Wow. That just shook me. I spent last weekend camping and had the so inconvenient situation of having to walk across the campsite and pay $3 so that I could have a shower. A shower! There was actually a drinkable water faucet 20 feet from my campsite. And even that allowed me to appreciate water a little bit more. But then I was thinking about what would life be like without the infrastructure that just pumped water to the campground, pumped water to my house. These aspects of daily life that, unless I pay attention and stop and slow down and appreciate, become taken for granted in obscene ways. And how much more rich life can become when we can stop and appreciate the things that are just amazing and magical. Water is one of those things that we use so frequently that it becomes a perfect tool for recalibration, a perfect tool to have that stop and appreciate. Because we need to do that in all aspects of our lives. Without stopping and appreciating the wonderful aspects of life, the clean clothes, the comfortable bed, the friendships, the resources, there's so many things that end up becoming not even registered as a gift. And instead, we start focusing on all the things that we wish were different. And so I am looking to this drought with appreciation for that reminder. And I was thinking about all these different things in our life that the modern world, society, gives us this unbelievably easy access to water. And so we become so used to it that we become accepting of wasting it. Not because we think that we're wasted, just because we don't even think about it. We turn on the water, we buy a product that uses a ton of water. We don't even think about it because we are never forced to stop and appreciate. And I think it is that act of stopping and appreciating that not only helps us to enjoy life, appreciate our blessings more, it also can help us to be more respectful of the resources. And that happens in different areas of our life as well. I was thinking about how the access we have to food options is just unbelievable. I went to go to a food court type area. It was at a little mini mall, and we went to a pizza parlor that had gluten-free crusts, and next to it was a Chinese food, and next to it was a wood-fired burrito stand, and all these little gourmet, fasty, foodie things where I could walk in and 10 minutes later have an incredibly flavorful food dish with spices and just delightful fresh food cooked into it. Just one after the other, these little restaurants. And how through so much of history, the access to any sort of food that would keep you alive was a blessing. And the thought of wishing you had variety wasn't even a possibility. And here I am just choosing between these crazy flavorful things. Now, here's where it gets problematic. We have such crazy, amazing access to food that we take it for granted. And because we have a body that is so, thrilled by wonderful tastes, we take it for granted and we overconsume often. It's no wonder that we have an obese and a crazy growing diabetic population, because the access to super rich, super salty, super fattening, super sweet foods is everywhere. It takes effort not to eat that stuff, as opposed to many, many years ago when you had to sail across the sea for spices or plant apple trees so that you could have a little bit of sugar. A precious treasured apple was something that you had to put a lot of effort to when you were a pioneer. Nowadays, you can barely get a kid to eat an apple because there's so many other sweeter, yummier things that are just easy access. And if we can train ourselves to stop and appreciate, we can, again, remember the gifts. We can be sitting in appreciation and awareness of our blessings, as opposed to craving more sweeter, flavorful. And I am so guilty of this. I'm finding that a big part of my current path towards getting healthier is trying to slow down and taste my food and appreciate the access I have to the food instead of just scarfing. And I think it's all part of the same equation, whether it's water, whether it's food, whether it's information. If I look around at myself and the culture right now with the access that we have to information, if you look on a TV news channel now, the tickers and the information and the graphics, if you look at your Facebook stream or anything, it's just it's just such crazy overload. It's that massive stimulation of our desires that makes us totally lose touch with stopping and appreciating. We have to stop and appreciate the access to the information, the stimulus of the article, of the art, of the person posting the information. If we don't, we just start gorging without thought, without appreciation, and we lose sight of how amazing our situation is. There's a line or a passage in Naked Lunch, a book by William S. Burroughs, about in this futuristic world where there's a type of addict who learn how to stimulate the pleasure centers of their brain by touching an electrical wire directly to the pleasure center of their brain. And so these addicts litter the streets in alleyways, just like with holes drilled in their skull, buzzing themselves, forgetting to eat, forgetting to take care of themselves, totally obsessed with just getting that stimulation. And I think that we might not be there yet, but it's easy to see how we are on that path. With the way we consume crazy food, with the way that we consume crazy amounts of information, with the ways that our attention spans and our palates are just like cranked. And so I'm going to try to, and I urge all of us to try to, practicing stopping and appreciating in all the ways that we consume, in the ways that we consume information, in the ways that we consume food, in the ways that we consume water, in the ways that we interact with fellow human beings on this planet. Because more stuff doesn't make us happier. More stuff doesn't make us more fulfilled. Quite the opposite. It's only by stopping and appreciating that we're ever going to feel fulfilled, find our purpose, hear our heart song. So in this moment, I'm appreciating you and this moment and this connection. And I so appreciate this now. Thank you for being you, walking your path, shining your light. I love you.